Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to talk to you about actually teaching your loved one to drive. Well, the first hurdle is complete. Your loved one now has their learner's permit. Now what? Well, for our experience, Sean passed his written test and he was excited to go driving right away. Well, the way things actually worked out, it was actually several days later before I was able to take him out to get behind the wheel. I took him to one of our local high schools and in an empty parking lot, and we just drove up and down the aisles, back and forth for about an hour. And I was actually surprised how well he did. I was really proud of him. He learned how to control the vehicle really well. Now, several months later, he's gaining confidence and showing that he's ready for this increased responsibility. And I think he's likely to be able to take his test right around his birthday. Now, AJ, through all of this, is becoming more and more excited about driving himself. Now, I've told him that it'll be after Sean gets his license before I take him down to take his written test, because I'm not teaching both boys at the same time. But I may have shot myself in the foot because now he thinks as soon as Sean gets his license, it's his turn. So we'll have to see what happens there. In our state requires drivers under 18 to have several things. One, they have to take a 30-hour driver's education course, either in an actual classroom or online. They have to have 50 hours of driving experience provided in a specific format, and they give you two different options. Now, 10 of those hours have to be at night. Now, our state does not require any certified instructor to teach them to do any of the driving instruction. Now, I do provide a link over on the blog with our state requirements. I highly recommend that you check your local DMV to see what your requirements are. Now, for all the links that I provide here, you can find them over on the blog. That's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in April of 2019. Now, I've talked to several parents who have taught their kids how to drive. One family didn't do anything with a certified instructor, and they had their kids go through driver's training or driver's ed online. And they have 3 licensed drivers. So obviously, it worked great for them. Another family I talked to did most of it themselves, but they put their kids through what they called finishing school. And this gave them a few hours with a certified instructor towards the end to get any final tips or recommendations of things that they would need to be able to pass the test the first time out. Now, it was also amusing, though, that they could come home and say, well, Mom, the instructor told me to do this, or the instructor told me to do that. And the parents are thinking, that's what we've been telling you the whole time. But, you know, kids listen to non-parents much better than parents at times. So, how should you proceed here when it's time for your loved one to get behind the wheel? Now, please remember that this is a family decision and it varies greatly between families. What I say here is my opinion, and I understand that. You need to choose to do what's best for you and for your loved one. Now, since individuals with special needs learn differently than typical adults, I think it's reasonable to find a licensed driving instructor to provide at least some of the behind-the-wheel instruction. Now, for us, AJ can really only see his dad and I in our parent hats. And so giving him an objective third person or another teacher, which he's used to learning from, could be very beneficial. Now, some of the links provided in past posts that I linked over on the blog can give you ideas of options around the country for this. I also found an article that mentions a company that's developing some virtual reality to help people with special needs learn how to drive. Now, this could be a great way to help promote repeated practice in this learning process while still making it fun. Now, I suspect that finding an instructor that can provide all of the driving experience your loved one will need will not be a possibility. Now, they may be willing to spend that many times with it, but I suspect the cost of it will be prohibitive. And honestly, I think that as long as you know what they're teaching your loved one and the language that they use so you can use it consistently with them, it's reasonable to think that you could then practice with your loved one to help them master those skills that the instructor is teaching them. It also seems reasonable to me to have an individual with special needs complete all of the teen requirements required for obtaining a license, even if the DMV won't require all of that. Now, depending on the individual, you might also have other things that you want them to be able to do before they take their test. Again, it's an individual choice. Now, eventually, the day will come when your loved one is ready to take their driving test. Congratulations! That's a great accomplishment. What do you need to do to help them best succeed? I found an article from disabilitydrivinginstructors.com. Again, there's a link on the blog that discusses some of the accommodations that can be utilized during a driving test. Now, while this organization is in Great Britain, I think that the options mentioned are reasonable and likely to be available in other areas as well. Again, I would say contact your local DMV directly or visit their website to see what requirements and accommodations are available in your area. It's likely that you'll also be able to schedule a time for your loved one to take the test. If any accommodations are needed, scheduling that appointment may be a requirement. In our area, scheduling a time means that you can get in and out and get your test done in a reasonable amount of time. Without the appointment, it's likely that you'll spend the greater part of a day sitting in the DMV, bored out of your mind. So, thinking positively, your loved one comes out and they have their driver's license. Once again, I'll say, congratulations. It's a major accomplishment and a huge milestone has been achieved. Now, it's time to celebrate. So my question for you this week is this. Has your loved one earned their driver's license? What was the experience like? Do you have any stories to share? I'd love to hear about them. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in April of 2019. As always, I'd appreciate it if you'd share this with anybody you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as I can. Over on the website, you can sign up for my email list. This will make sure you find out about all new content as soon as it's released. There's also a place on the right-hand side of the website for you to sign up for my new course waitlist. This will be talking about how to obtain services for your loved one. Signing up for this will give you course updates as they become available, as well as notification of all new content as it's released. Celebrating with those of you whose loved ones have earned their licenses, and cheering on those who are still working, because as always, life is good, and there is never a dull moment.